So was there like one defining moment that really turned y'all up before y'all went major, or was it just like a consistent grind and we've kind of proven that we can?
It really was. Like he had, I mean, and when I say he, like the group continued to progress, but Charlie just stood out. You know what I mean? And he would, do different projects and different stuff, and he just got more and more popular. And he had a song called Bumper Grill that really kind of. It didn't take him, but it kind of elevated him. And at that point, without giving up the game, we figured out the radio promo game. You know what I mean? You get your radio promoter, and there's a whole thing to it.
Right.
Artists that think you just get your song on the radio because it's hot, that's just not how it works. It needs to be hot, but other stuff needs to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The
you
radio
gotta have
promoter,
the right people at the right place, doing the right thing, making the right calls. And so we got that, and that spread pretty good, like regionally, like throughout the South. And it just kept working, man. We just kept working, and then I look good, man. I mean, we just.
So when y'all dropped that, y'all had already made that before y'all had the deal?
Yes.
Okay.
We actually, a lot of people don't know this, we shot the video on our own. We had radio promoter on our own, and we got it to, I want to say 48 on Billboard, independent.
That's tough.
Oh shit.
And then there's a certain point where
that is tough.
The people you got just can't get it any further. You know what I mean? And it's a balance, because I mean, I've known the people that waited too long to sign their deal.
Yeah.
And
you miss your moment.
And then they don't want you no more.
Right.
Like they literally could be calling you one week, and if you slip on the charts, to them it's going backwards. They don't want it going backwards. They want it going up so they can keep pushing it up. And we did it at the exact right time, and it worked out.
That shit hit.
It hit. It worked out. It worked out.
So how are you feeling, man? Things changing, because I mean y'all in the big leagues now. Like,
yeah.
Tell me about it, man. How's that transition from that? How's that experience?
It was great, man. It was a whirlwind, because you go from just grinding it out weekly, just trying to get there, and you get this record that is just the one, and it's at the right time. It's club music. It's because the Bumper Grill record was a slab song,
right?
For the slow tempo, and really wasn't the right time for that one. And so then at this time, music is kind of upbeat and the club stuff is popping. It was just the right song with the right time.
It fit right in, man.
It did. Because I can even remember DJs telling me at that time, DJs were mixing it with Busybody, Paul Wall, and Dero. Ice Cream Paint Job.
Dero.
And we were right after that.
That was the one.
Ice Cream Paint Job.
Ice Cream Paint Job, and I Look Good.
Once I heard, I remember we were in a club in Dallas, and DJs were telling me, because that's what DJs do. You know that you look for a song to ride it off of,
right?
And it was perfect. And so then we were just telling people, we put an email blast, play it with Ice Cream Paint Job, and people got that. You know what I mean? And it was going. It was gone.
And it was a good time for Texas too, because you had Dero. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. The whole Dallas thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dallas thing, yeah.
Because at that time you had Stanky Leg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had that B-Hamp with
they did the Ricky Bobby. Was it Ricky Bobby?
Yeah. Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
Who had the Caprice music? Tom Tom.
Tom Tom.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So it was just that time, and it's funny because there are some people that know Charlie and know his slow slab kind of music, and they think he's from Houston, and then people that know I Look Good think he's from Dallas.
Yeah.
He ain't from either.
Yeah.
But I mean, Texas is Texas, but it's weird that we were able to capture both of those kind of deals at the same time.
Yeah.
But when it went, and we just.
So by this time, y'all a label. Y'all already a label, and everybody signed.
And we signed with Sony.
Okay.
And the reason
what kind of deal y'all did? Y'all do a single deal? Y'all did a label deal?
Or what?
Single deal? Okay.
And the weird thing was, we got calls from every label, because the labels are doing the same thing everybody else. They're looking at numbers. They're looking at all the stuff, and then they're calling you, telling you they know, and like, we think y'all are the one. Well, y'all don't think we're the one. Y'all looking at these numbers everybody else looking at. We get it, but that's fine too. But we actually had an opportunity to sign with Def Jam. And in my heart, coming from where I come from, I would have loved to sign with Def Jam.
Right.
But they wanted our publishing, they wanted 360 touring, and
way back then was the 360.
Yeah, 09.
Damn.
They were on it, and we just couldn't do that. We just couldn't do that. And so we ended up signing with Sony Battery Jive, because that's where the GS Boys signed. And, you know, they had gone, I don't know, maybe double platinum.
Yeah, they were
Stanky
all over.
Leg was big. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we thought we had Stanky Leg, but at the same time, we knew they knew what to do
They
with
knew
that.
how to work the music.
We knew they knew what to do with that record.
Right.
So, you feel me?
I want to make one. Like if I was
Yeah.
making a stanky leg, retire off of a stanky leg, bro.
Yeah.
Man,
It's so true, man. It's so true. Like people all the time, they're like, so how's it feel to be like a one hit? I'm like, it feels great.
awesome.
Like, what are you talking about?
Hey man, I got paid. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, would I love to have 10 of those? Yeah.
Cool.
But one's fine.
And I'll take it a step further. You fast forward to what 2017, 18, somewhere in that range, and you watching the commercial, and it's a Toyota commercial.
There you
and
go.
you hear Charlie Boy.
And
I
if you
Look
know about
Good
music,
coming
you know
up
that's
in.
a check.
And that's what I'm saying.
Straight up.
Fuck my head up.
It's-
I'm
it's-
watching TV. I'm like, I know the.
I know that song. I recognize
it's
that.
two things that I'm thinking, like, damn, that's live for the whole clique, the whole Dirty Third clique, for Charlie Boy, Bull, all them, Dibbles, all them. And then I'm thinking, them boys eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't pocket
See,
watching
that was
by
my
no
first
means.
thought. I said, I look good.
Yeah.
That's a check. Them boys get
Yeah.
Hey,
them boys get a check.
shout out my man Dibbles. He's in the building.
Shout out
And
Dibbles,
he
man.
made the Toyota thing go.
Hey,
Straight
That's
up.
what's up.
man.
Straight up. He made that happen.
Hey, that's
what's
true.
up.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what, like you saying, you have something, you got one of them songs that's, it's gonna resonate forever. Like,
Yeah. It's gonna be in wedding receptions and family reunions, all that.
That shit gonna
Forever and
resurface.
ever.
That shit's gonna
Man, look.
resurface in the next 5 years. In the next 5 to 7
It's gonna be
years,
like a,
because you know that shit be coming back around.
like
you know
a-
what
like
I
a
mean?
swag
It's
surf.
like swag
I
surf.
hope
That's
so.
what I'm saying.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, when I be DJing from time to time, like when I'm getting to like a pocket, you know what I'm saying? Especially like a family reunion or something
Straight
that's
up.
kind of like safe. You know what I'm
Straight- yeah,
saying?
no doubt.
When I'm getting to like that turn up level,
You can play that. I look
you drop
good.
that I look good, and it's gonna be a handful of people that's gonna get out they seat.
No
You gonna
doubt.
get
No doubt.
Still to this day.
No
You
doubt.
know what I'm saying?
No
like
doubt.
it's just one of them ones. You know what I'm saying?
And it's
You
all
can-
it's all about just knowing what you got because
That's a fact.
because you know, of course everybody's not gonna get that one song that's gonna just like the Jeezy, like we talked about Jeezy earlier. You're gonna always be able to drop at the clubs you want to drop them at.
Right.
But you know what I Look Good is. Like you said, it's family friendly. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
upbeat. They can
Yep.
do some kind of line dance or
Yep.
dance to
Right.
it. You know, they gonna think back to when they first heard it. You know,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
It's easy, kids. That's what I'm saying. It's one of the records that's gonna resurface. I have a feeling it'll resurface again, like swag surfing. Who would have thought swag surfing would be what it is now?
You
Yeah,
had me
gospel
laughing
at
so
the
hard.
moment.
You talk about this old school music.
It's school music though.
Straight
It the
up.
resurface, but it's school music.
school
It's school. I swear to God, listen. This is a true story.
You forget how old you are when you think about how long ago that Jeezy album dropped.
Right? You talking about 15
15 years ago,
years?
yeah.
Thug
And you
motivation.
thinking like, man, yeah, Jeezy. I remember when they dropped. That wasn't that long ago.
No,
It was 15
Shit,
years
that
ago.
was niggas got 15-year-old kids right about now.
That's a fact.
You know what
and be your age. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's what I'm getting at. Our partners got 15-year-old kids. You like, God damn.
It's, it's, you know, even that
Wait, I
Jeezy.
think you said that right in one of the podcasts, like thinking they had something. I remember that.
Man, a bunch of people went to jail off this motherfucker.
Yeah.
They started
Bitches in jail now because of that.
they started their trap career and ended their trap career on that album.
Hey,
Facts.
Got them bricks. Oh, you good?
But you know what though? I tell you what, Jeezy first album, school music.
It is.
All
At this point,
all
That
that
makes me
shit,
so sad,
bro.
man. That makes me
Webby.
sad.
that Webby album, that
I
Boosie
can't-
first
Webby?
album. Yeah.
School. Dog, I was DJing the other day, Friday, Hank and Bly. I saw a couple holding hands, dancing the bad bitch.
Two-stepping.
I said, "No, man, this can't. I don't want to be. I don't want to be that age. You know what I'm saying? I am.
We
I'm in the
there.
club, bro. It was no gas, nigga. They holding hands
Two-stepping
on the
to
dance
beat.
floor, dancing the bad bitch.
When they locked
Reminiscing about
eyes,
Webby.
Yeah,
when they locked eyes at the M bar.
come on.
It's on 07 when she was going through the whole phase.
She wanted.
Yeah.
She wanted. He ordered a Grey Goose. You know, what I'm saying? You know that was a drink at the time.
They locked eyes at the M bar.
Hypnotic on ice. He got him an Incredible Hulk. He got her the Hypnotic. Kept it
Oh
safe.
my God.
Yeah, a Hypnotic with some Grey Goose.
Oh man.
You remember it like it was yesterday. She had a name belt on. Remember the name belt?
Golly, man.
Yeah, what nigga Lee said he had a name belt. And a tall tee.
No, you say he locked eyes at the M bar.
Hey, that bad bitch came on.
I wasn't gonna give him that. That was good. I was just Pink Monkey.
Dog.
Late night.
Oh shit,
Man.
nigga, it was on that night.
Yeah, they was in there holding hands, dancing the way before.
It's hard to accept that though.
It's
man.
hard, dog. It's
We
hard.
not
I saw that
that
shit,
old,
and I
man.
low key was like, in a
Cause see, I'm older than y'all for sure. But I know the music I love is old.
Yeah.
But Jeezy not old though, man.
bro.
It's not
T.I.'s
old.
not old. That's not, like I can't think of that being
Bro.
old, man. I just can't.
Trap music
I know
been
it is,
around.
though.
Trap music been around 15 years.
But see, it's crazy. Like people will look at T.I. and be like, "Oh man, you know." I ain't gonna say people will look at him like this. Tip's still that dude. Like I don't care what you say, but you know, people look like he's an artist that it was in a particular time. Like he's relevant, but it's not a, you know.
No, I agree.
But Chains is probably older than T.I. I would think.
Right.
Chains is like, hey, it's like, you know, so it's all in. I think the style of music, like.
That's a great point.
You know, Chains just got that kind of music. Like no matter if you 16 or 56, the shit just go because it's just, you know, upbeat. But when you rapping about the trap after a certain time, it's like, man, don't nobody want to hear nobody.
Yeah.
Man.
Rapping about the motherfucking trap.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Figured it out by now.
So,
You're supposed to outgrow the trap.
Yeah, man,
You should have figured it out by now.
Something you doing is not right.
all right. So, just to kind of get back to it real quick, with the deal, the song was successful. Y'all did a single deal.
Yeah.
What happened with like the follow up and all that? Because at that point, I would think the label is invested. You know what I'm saying?
They are, man, but they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They wanted. You've heard the story a million times, and it's not gonna surprise you. You know what they wanted? They wanted "I Look Good."
Yeah. Over and over again. Yeah.
But and it's like I told him, I was like, look, you can't go. If it was that easy, everybody would do it.
Right.
You can't just go in and just make that magic happen. Like you gotta, you know.
Right.
And they weren't, and they weren't ready, and they weren't prepared to work Charlie in any other way. You see what I'm saying? Like they weren't so invested that they were like, okay, we're really gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put him with these producers, and we're gonna get him these features. And you know, there's been a couple of Texas people that have really had shots. You know what I mean?
Right.
Really got the juice behind them. You know what I
Right.
mean? They weren't that invested for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
They just weren't.
But the record still went. How many units y'all did on?
I honestly don't know. I remember at one point, I don't even know. It's close to gold,
Yeah.
but I don't know for sure what it is. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I don't know. But you know, it's just one of those things. And I can remember we were about to shoot. They dropped the remix, and the remix was doing real well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in December of 2009. We were about to shoot the video. We were literally like 2 days away from shooting a remix video. And the dude called me and said, we pulling the record. Meaning
What?
they basically pulling the budget. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what happened was back then, I don't know exactly how they do it now. They do it different. But they do a thing called call out research. So they got these people they call, and they list them these songs. Okay, do you really want to hear this? Do you not want to hear this? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And they got a bad batch of call out research from one of the Atlanta stations. And I told a guy, I was like, the record not done, man. It's just not. And he said, well, you know, at a certain point, label got to make decisions. Are we going to pour more money into this, or are we done?
Right.
I mean, I get that too. That's with anything. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so they do it. They pull the budget. They X the video for the remix. And it was in December, so you know how the music business is in December, it slows down.
Right.
They're not adding records. They're not taking
Right.
records out, that kind of thing. No joke, dude called me 2 weeks later, and he didn't have to call me. He called me 2 weeks later, and he said, man, we owe you an apology. We made a mistake. We did call out research again, and it came back great. But at that point, it's too late. They pulled the
Damn.
plug. They pulled the plug.
What?
Told me that. He
Damn.
says a mistake. He says straight up a mistake. And so in my mind, I'm thinking I'm handling this pretty well, but like literally like our record's done just like that, but then you call me and tell me
Oh, we
that it
fucked
really
up.
shouldn't have been done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you never know, man. That record keep going, the remix, and you never know. We might get enough juice to do you never
This
know.
is wild.
Yeah, that's the
What?
business though. Yep.
So I mean, how do you feel about all this when it goes down like that? Because I mean, that has to be like, come on, man, you got to.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but the thing is, like, I was always prepared when we signed the deal. I was always prepared to be independent.
Yeah.
Because I've seen enough behind the musics to know how the business goes. You know what I mean?
You get in there and you really know it's a gamble. You know what I mean?
Right.
They might understand, they might not.
They gonna eat you up and they gonna spit you out, and they don't care. They going to the next one. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Well, then you got to figure. We just watched what they did with the GS Boys, and the GS Boys had a platinum record.
Yeah. What happened? What was the end of that? What happened with that?
Don't even know. I don't even know that story. Because remember they had, what was that? The Booty Do. They had
Booty
something
Do. They had a follow up.
Yeah, and it was okay, but it just wasn't a stanky leg. And I think that's probably what it was. You know what I mean?
Damn.
So that's kind of the unfortunate part of that whole story. But you know, I mean, everybody's got those stories.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Slim's got them stories.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like everybody's got them. Paul's got them. Jones got them. All of them got them.
Yeah.
That's just the game, man. I was fully aware of that. You know, this is disappointing, and you always look back and be like, man, I wonder what could have happened.
So I mean, but shit, while y'all were in there though, tell me some experience that you remember that was just like mind blowing, or just some things that's gonna last forever. Maybe somebody you met or whatever.
You performing, like you go from performing in, you know, what people would call, you know, the clubs where you're doing 800-900 people. You're doing arenas with 15,000 people, and you're performing with T.I. and you're performing with, you know what I mean, all these big names.
Yeah.
And that experience in and of itself is cool, you know. Pulling up backstage and getting your passes and having your green room and you know all that. That's cool. And you know, going places and all these artists knowing you.
Yeah.
You know, and knowing what you're doing. I mean, it was fun. And I mean, we would get in the van and we'd leave. Man, we wouldn't come back for 16, 17 days.
Man.
So y'all had riders. Y'all had so y'all was going somewhere. Y'all was like, hey, I want chicken.
Oh yeah, we had all that.
What was that like, man? Having a ride. I said, I want that. Like I pull up somewhere, man.
Straight up. I'll tell you what else we'll do too. In a minute, we'll tell somebody, don't worry about the rider. Just give us an extra.
Give the money.
Give us an extra 500.
Yeah.
We told people before you hotel rooms where you can also just give us some money for the hotel rooms. We'll drive to the next city. You know what I mean? We were hustling at every turn because I'm telling you, I'm expecting to go back. I'm expecting to go back independent. Like I'm trying to make every dollar we can make. You know?
That's a fact. This is what you learn when you in the Texas scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Independent hustle. Like I done seen people do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's not uncommon in Texas for people to be like,
Yep.
you know what? Just give me the money for this. I'm gonna hit the road. Boom. You know
Straight
what
up.
I mean?
we've had Sony offer us limos, offer us first class plane tickets. No,
just give me a check for that. We good.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because all you gonna do is get it back.
Right.
I mean, it's just, you know, like no, I don't want to owe y'all nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah. But it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. It was hard too. I mean, there were times when I can remember specifically one stretch we had like 16 shows in 14 days.
Damn.
We did 3 shows in one night in 2 different time zones. Yeah. Wow, just stuff you don't think about.
Y'all private jetting or what y'all doing?
No. It's like, okay, pardon me for my geography ignorance, but Illinois, Indiana is somewhere in there is where the time zone changes. Somebody out there listening to this is gonna know. And so we were booked somewhere early, like a skating rink for kids, and then the after party. But then we crossed the time zone change where it goes, and then we did it like that.
Yeah.
So just worked out. I mean, getting every dollar we could get, and then drive to the next place.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's
it was a real grind, but it was fun. I wouldn't change it for anything, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for anything.
That's what's up.
A lot of good times.
That's what's up. So I mean, now you say you're just chilling. What's the reason you tired of me? Did you get kind of burned out with it?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I got burned out, but Charlie really got burned out.
Really?
Yeah, because you have all this ascension in your career, and then you have this pinnacle. And as much as you try to prepare somebody for it, it's hard to grasp the fact that you have all the success and then all of a sudden you don't have success.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether you're still a Texas legend, you're still booking shows, but you're trying to please these people with another record like I told you about. I mean, there was a time he submitted like 40, 50 records to Sony.
Oh shit.
And they didn't want none of them because they didn't have a vision. The only reason they wanted I Look Good is because they saw the numbers anyway.
Yeah.
So we might as well have just been back independent and grind it that way to where we would show them. And there was a couple of records we had where we did that, and we had some regional success, but it wasn't anything they ever jumped on. So I think psychologically it probably really took its toll on him.
Yeah.
And then you after a while, you're like, okay, I love doing this, but then they're trying to get this. And then you kind of get in no man's land. You don't know what you're doing anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of music you kind of need to reset.
Yeah.
And so he sort of took some time off. And so we all we still do shows and features and stuff. And he started recording back recently, but I think he just needed to sort of recharge. You know what I mean? Yeah. And kind of like, and now, especially nowadays, like, where are you in this landscape? Yeah. You know, he's almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, is he going to make Lil Yachty music, or is he, you know what I mean? Right. Or are you gonna make the kind of albums that that
your fans want to hear?
Yeah, the kind of music you made when you started.
Right.
You going? I mean, so you kind of just got to find your identity, man. But I told him, just do whatever makes you happy, man.
Yeah.
Go back to making music because you like it. Make the music you want to make.
Right.
If people don't like it, they don't like it. It makes you happy, you know.
Yeah.
If it catches, it catches. That's why you started to begin with.
Yeah, nah, I understand, man. Because I haven't been to the level of y'all, but even just doing music, you do it so often, but it's like now things have become so like programmed, you know what I mean? To where it's like if you've been used to making music one type of way, just off of, well, this feels good to me, I like the way this here, I like the way this feels or whatever. Now it's about, oh, well, shit, well, okay, what demographic is gonna gravitate to this? How many streams could this possibly get? What feature? What, you know what I mean? It's all these things. Yep. To be considered.
So as a producer, I mean, not to turn this on you, how do you approach it from a production standpoint? Do you produce to the artist, or do you produce to yourself and then see who, or do you do a little bit of both? Or
I produce to the artist. Like, I'm not the producer that just sits around and like make beats. You know what I mean? Like, for the most time, sometimes I'll be in here banging them out, but for the most part, I like to have someone in mind. You know what I mean? Or be in there with the artist, and it's like, I like to describe it like buying a suit. You know what I mean? So we may start here and you say, okay, well, I like this suit, right? I like this color, whatever. Okay, cool. Let's get your size. All right, cool. Let's get your measurements together, you know what I mean, and really get it to fit you.
I like that. You thought of that already, huh? You didn't just make that up right then.
Well, people asked me this before, so
yeah, okay. Yeah. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's always been an interesting process to me because we've created a bunch of different ways. We created records with the producers there, and we created, because see, I don't know, to go back to this, the album we put out in 2002, Off the Chain, we got Salih Williams to produce it.
Okay.
The dude that did all the Rec Shop stuff. You know, and then like the Swish House stuff. It's funny because we connected with him in 2002, and then G-Dash got his info from me, and then before you know it, they had Still Tipping. So, and then, I mean, back then, he had some bangers. Yeah. But that was one of those things where we had a lot of records demoed out, but he literally came to our studio and spent the night in our studio for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the kind of worker he is. You need to get him on here.
So, yeah.
I mean, talk about some good stories he got. You know what I mean? Yeah. I still need to listen to the solo one, too. I need to listen to that podcast.
Yeah, solo was
I'm interested in that.
Solo was dope.
But yeah, I've always, the producer, artist, just dynamic, how to create a record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's so much different than it used to be with people sending verses and stuff.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, I could have way more placements if I sent beats. Like, I got a gang of emails, and I just be like, man, I don't want to send that shit.
You just don't want to?
I don't want to for multiple reasons. Like, I'm just hella, like, particular. Like, for one, I want to like the song. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like a control freak almost. Like, I want to kind of be in there. And, like, I don't just make the beat. You know what I mean? I go in there, and I'm, like, vocal producing. Like, can you say it like this? Can you, whatever. I may be a part of the hook or some shit. Just different little shit, like, very involved. You know what I mean? More than just, like, a beat maker. And just, I don't know, man. You can't really... Some artists are good with taking a beat, you know what I mean, putting a great song together. Yep. Sometimes niggas will just rap on your shit and you be like, man, come on, bro.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I Look Good was a SoundCloud beat.
Yeah.
And obviously we ended up doing everything we needed to do, but we just got it off of there. My buddy J Mark found it and took it to Charlie, and Charlie sort of kind of came up with something, and then J Mark had an idea, and then they just came up with it. So, I mean, they literally just took a beat off of rented it for $15, and then ultimately, you know, we paid and got the paperwork. But like that's how it started. You know what I mean? Like so, I hear people talk about all the time how, and of course I'm with you. I like producers that produce, not just beat make. You know what I mean? I like for a guy to be like, nah, I'll say it like this. You know, nah, you don't need to breathe right there. You need to, you know.
Because all that shit really matters, man.
Yeah,
like, if you really listen to music, you know what I mean? Depending on how your ear is, I don't, you know. I'm just saying, just not you in general. I'm just saying whoever's listening. If you really particularly like that, you can tell, like, man, like, why does he sound like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's the old Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre story. You know? Dre told me to sing this little part. And then before you know it, there it is. You know what I mean? That's history. So, I get it. I get it completely.
Yeah. And again, you know what I'm saying? Again, because I'm older too. Like, I ain't know, you know, a lot of these kids, they be 19 years old and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the knowledge of Dr. Dre. You feel me? I know the power in, like, creating like that. You feel me?
Absolutely.
You know.
Well, and he ain't the only one. I mean,
he's not the only one, of course.
We talk, you know, we talk
but
about
that's the
Kanye,
but it's that school though.
Creative
you know what I mean?
control kind of deal. Yeah. These dudes ain't geniuses for no reason. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. So, future, man, what you got in the future, man?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I worked hard for a really long time. I just been chilling, man. I go to games, I go to concerts. Like, I spend time with my niece. I hate to sound like I'm just not hustling and grinding right now, but I'm really not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He living their retirement life.
Yeah, kinda. You know, semi. Like I'm still peeping what's next. You know what I mean? But I ain't in no hurry.
Yeah.
I ain't in no hurry at all.
Yeah. Nah, that's all right. I mean,
but
shit.
yeah, I mean that's just me keeping it real, man.
Yeah.
That's me keeping it real. But still studying the game.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that I'll ever be able to be in the game like I once was, just because things are so different. Youngsters are so different. Everybody's a boss. Everybody wants to be. And that's funny. I really enjoyed Kiki saying what he said today, because there's something to be said, like, for him to just be young and have money and a car and just be able to go rap and not have to worry about that. Like, you got time to be a boss. But I also understand people want to take control of their careers too. But nowadays, man, and you know, at this point, I'm not even sure how much business is even involved in putting your music up on social media and people either liking it or not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying there's not a place for me, but like the traditional CEO person, like I don't know. Like the majority of my job was spending my money. And nowadays, do you even need to spend money? I mean,
I mean, the cost has definitely been cut.
I mean, and I mean, the marketing and promotion costs are virtually nothing. You get it on the right site or on the right. So it's just way different, man. It's way different. I mean, it's gonna always change, and I'm here to watch it change, but I don't know. But I'm always peeping it.